Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff. Hey guys, welcome back to FFC. I'm Maureen.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Jeanette.
And we are back with another Netflix episode. We are talking feel-good movies, and we're going to start with, we're most of these are new. Actually, I think all these are new this year. They're brand new, like to July, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So these are like new
yeah.
movies. And I'm really excited about this first one we're going to talk about. This one, I have to admit, was my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I even cried in it. It was so good. We're going to talk about Happiness for Beginners. Of course, I'm a sucker for Ellie Kemp. It's Ellie Kemper, right? Is that her name?
Yes.
I just remember her from The Office, her character on The Office. So
Yeah.
I love her from that.
This is why I don't know her, because you all said this like I should know, and I'm like, I don't know this person.
No, she was
also
the
Unbreakable
secretary
Kimmy
in The
Schmidt.
Office and the
Never
Unbreakable
watched that
Kimmy,
either,
but I
so-
never watched that. But then
It's
you
been in my
also
queue
have
forever.
Luke Grimes, which
I'm a
is
sucker
from
for Luke Grimes, so like
he's from Yellowstone. He's from
And-
50 Shades of Grey, which I know
he
you
was on
don't
True
know.
Blood. Remember,
He was on
the-
True Blood.
Yeah,
He's been in
So-
a lot of stuff that I know.
The
And
name
I
Luke
love
Grimes
both of
sounds
them.
familiar.
Yeah, he's
but-
one of the main guys in Yellowstone.
he is. Yeah, he's Casey
Okay.
Dutton on.
He's one of the sons.
He's my Yellowstone boyfriend. I love him.
I fell in love with him on 50 Shades of Grey, but
Well, I remember him from True Blood because he like was on there before Nathan Parsons took over the character.
that's true. I forgot about
So
that.
I've loved him for a long time. But
I was actually watching that yesterday. Fun
Well,
fact.
he looked familiar to me and he sounded familiar to me, but I thought his character, I mean, you could kind of see where it was going. So, I mean, that was good, but I'm going to read the synopsis for it. So the synopsis says Helen signs up for a wilderness survival course a year after getting divorced. She discovers through this experience that sometimes you have to get really lost in order to find yourself. And one of my favorite characters on this show actually was Duncan.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
I loved him. So
Yeah.
Duncan is Helen's brother, and he was just fantastic.
He was. He was.
He was funny. I don't know. I think Hugh. Either Hugh
I did like
or,
you.
Beckett. They kept me
I love
laughing.
Beckett too.
Yeah.
They just
What was
kept me laughing.
The blonde girl. She made me laugh quite a bit too.
Yes,
Oh,
that was sort of the K, I think. Kaylee.
Yes. Yeah, I remember liking her.
I like her too.
Her and Hugh were probably the two that I laughed the most.
I
at.
like it when she was talking to Mason about stocks. And
Yeah.
she was like, people just assume things about me because of this. But
When
she's
she
so
started
insane
that,
the
I was
rest
like,
of the
what?
episode.
Yeah. No, it was good. I like that was like a what moment? Like, okay.
And honestly, like I thought they were gonna make a mockery out of all these people, like when they first introduced themselves.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that Jake, it was hard to miss that he was sitting there from the beginning when they were going through all their things. So like, oh,
Yeah, I
there he
knew
is.
he was
He's
there.
right there. And I
Yeah.
mean, I know they tried to like skirt around him, but he's very noticeable. So
If you didn't know, like to me, if you didn't know he was one of the main characters before watching, then maybe you wouldn't have noticed. I was looking for him because I knew he was going to be the main
Yeah.
character. I knew he was going to be in that room. I just
Yeah.
felt like I knew. So I was kind of like looking for him. I don't know if you would know it. Did
Well, I
they? Because they
think-
never like showed him.
they did. They showed him from the back, but it was like half of him. And I was like, oh,
okay.
that's Jake. He's there.
I got to rewatch.
But it's because I assumed from the very, and I'm not going to say what the end is because we want you to actually go watch this movie, but I
Yeah.
assumed what his role was going to be on our first interaction with him. Like, oh, I dig this. I like where this is going. So I was kind of watching for him. And I think that's probably the only reason I saw him is because I was watching for him.
Mhm.
But when they introduced all these people, I actually thought that they were going to make like Wendy, not Wendy, Wendy with an I. And like, she was, I thought they were going to make a mockery out of all these people. And they didn't. Like
No.
they made a way to make all these people, like it was reminding me of the Gilmore Girls, A Year in the Life, when Lorelai goes on that hike and all those people are being kind of insane. I thought they were going to do that, but they didn't. They gave all these people so much more substance when they're
Yeah.
on the trail. And I found myself, even Beckett, like he's kind of crazy, but in a
Why did I
really
feel
good
like-
way.
I felt like he was like, it was his first hike ever at some points. And I was like, what? Is he going to come out to be like, he's hiked before, but this is like his like first big hike.
I thought the
I
same
just-
thing.
I kept waiting. I was like,
Except for
"What's
Wendy
going
did
on?"
say that her brother was on there with him, and he went, "Yeah, he was the bane of my existence, playing soccer with a rock."
I forgot about that.
So I really liked what they did with all these characters. I think it's hard to make an ensemble cast this big and make you care about characters in this way,
Mhm.
but still not giving you all the information on them. And I think they did I think they were really successful, and I really, really like them. So there was a team, there was like 8 of them.
I think so.
Right.
Yeah, I think 8,
There's
something like that.
Duncan, Wendy, Kaylee, Hugh, Mason, Jake, Helen with an H, and Beckett. So that's 8. And then
Yeah.
Duncan was her. Gigi too. I like Grandma Gigi.
Oh yes, I love Grandma Gigi.
I did like her. I love the actress.
Yes, I do too. Gwyneth Paltrow's mom.
Yes. Do you not like her?
Don't remember. Is it Blythe Danner? Is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Gwyneth Paltrow's mom better.
That's always who I think, because I remember I used to love I still love this actress, but when I found out she was Gwyneth Paltrow's mom, I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Same like
Yeah.
Blake Lively, her dad was in the Sisterhood of Traveling Pants. And I'm like, oh, that's Blake Lively.
You know, only until a few years ago I found out that Liza Minnelli's mom was Judy Garland.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
I had no idea until maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, and I was like, how? Like I've just been skirting through like there's so many of them though.
Just been
Kate Hudson,
skirting
Goldie
through life.
Hawn.
You
Uh-huh.
didn't
I've
know
always known
that?
No, I knew that one was always
Oh.
known because
I'm gonna say they made that one fairly public.
no, my parents were like huge Goldie Hawn fans, so that was like a
Mhm.
what's the Overboard? was
I
played
love
all
that
the
movie.
time.
Love
Yeah,
that movie.
gosh,
I
love
I
it.
played that on repeat.
And one of my favorite movies is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. So it's just that's who I think about. I love Kate Hudson. Man. Okay.
Well,
Going way
Gwyneth
off.
Paltrow's mom was fantastic.
She was.
Yes.
And I think I like even the transition because Ellie Kemper is beautiful, right?
Mhm.
But in the very beginning, like the way they did her makeup was like, why are you doing that to her face? Why are you giving her that
Mhm.
makeup? But even on the camping trip, her makeup was changing. And so I think when you can do things that change the tone of the character of the movie without saying anything about changing it, I think those are some of my favorite cinematic tricks. I love it.
Yeah.
And that's what they did with her makeup because she was wearing like orange eyeshadow and like peach lipstick. And it was just, you look old when you're doing that. And you're not
Yeah.
old. I think
I
she's
didn't
younger
like
than
that.
I am.
Yeah.
But through the camping trip, as she went on, her makeup altered and she just began to look more youthful. And that was what they were trying to. And I thought that was brilliant. I really, really enjoyed that. Did you guys have some favorites about this?
I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of like any special moments. I mean, any moment, like we said, we loved Hugh. So any moment with like Hugh and Helen, like I think their friendship and the way it grew, I think was really, really cute.
Now I knew him from Superstore and he plays almost the same character on Superstore,
Yeah,
but he's so funny.
he's so funny. I love him from his first like scene. Like, 'cause I'm like, that's me.
Oh, another old person.
You know, like okay, like not old. When we find out what happened, like I actually knew someone who this happened, like the same thing was happening to them in college. So like it was like, oh wow, like this was like, which is really sad, you know. So
Yeah.
but that took me by shock. Like I feel like I didn't expect this movie to take such a dramatic turn. Like obviously with
Yeah.
her, we knew her healing process and why she was
Mhm.
there and all of that. But I think that was a little bit surprising. So I really enjoyed that. But no,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I have any moments that stand out. Honestly, I just thought it was a great movie from beginning to end.
Yeah.
I laughed, I like
Yeah.
smiled, I like got sad. Like
Yes.
You
Yeah.
felt all the emotions in it.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why we're talking about feel good movies.
Yeah.
This was like the epitome of a feel good movie.
Mhm.
Yes.
It was that cheesy rom-com. You have a little bit. but
Wasn't
you
even
have that
cheesy
dramatic-
though.
That's what I
You had a few cheesy little moments, which
a
I
little
like.
bit.
I'm not saying cheesy in a bad way,
Oh, okay.
but
I thought
I
you
guess
were.
more lighthearted.
When you
Yeah,
say
fair.
cheesy, I think Hallmark.
I know, not cheesy.
Well,
That
and
was a
this-
bad word. Lighthearted.
There you
this
go.
had a little bit of Hallmark too. I have to admit, because I'm not a Hallmark
Well,
person.
yeah.
You have to admit this had a little Hallmark, but like in like the Hallmark, but like the actors and actresses still are very good at their jobs, and so like it doesn't feel overacted. And I'm saying that in the nicest way, but like
Yeah.
sometimes Hallmark films are very overacted. and
No.
this was not. This was just a good love story and a good clean love story. Like this
Yes.
was one that like the whole family can watch. There is
Absolutely.
nothing inappropriate in this at all. Did they even cuss at all? If they did,
Mhm.
it was like
minimally, but
I
they
didn't even
did.
notice it.
I would feel comfortable watching with my daughters because I think it was like twice where they said it. But I think you're right. Yeah. And I do like Hallmark movies. And I think what I differentiate is this one. I see what you're saying about it's a little Hallmarky in spots.
Yeah.
It's just, this is deeper than a Hallmark movie. I mean, it's called Happiness for Beginners. So you know she's going to end up happy. So you kind of know the end story, but the way they got there, it was so different. And I think it had a little more substance. So I think I would agree with your favorites there.
Mhm.
I think the scenes when they realize things about themselves, like when she sat down with Marcus and talked about who he was and what he was doing and why, I love that. And then Beckett, who you think is just this man boy striving for power, in the end, he was actually paying very close attention to these people, and he fulfilled them in a way that they didn't know they needed to be fulfilled. So I those were my favorite parts, all the self-realization moments, and they happen throughout the movie. So it keeps you pulled in.
Yeah. I mean, to piggyback off that, one of my favorite moments is like Helen's moment. And I mean, like I said, we don't want to give away, but when she has to kind of show how far she's come and like that she's not the person she started the hike as, but kind of like making all the mistakes that she was making when she's finally, and she is able to save the day. I think that was like a really like exciting,
It's not my favorite moment because he got hurt, but Hugh, when he got hurt was one of my favorite things.
As soon as he was doing it, honestly, I was like, no, you can't do that. Remember what
that was my favorite part.
Yeah,
it really was. And not because he got hurt, but whenever he's standing and he just goes
but before he does it, he goes
just the way he lands, like it was such, I laughed so hard. I didn't think he was like actually hurt.
They played the crack sound, so I knew that they're gonna play that angle.
I guess I just didn't really want him listening or anything, but I just saw him fall, so I was like laughing hard. Then I was like, oh, he's actually really hurt.
But then he was ever Hugh the whole way through. He's like, no, I'm good. My head decided it wants to lay right here. It's totally fine. It can stay just like this. So he, like, his personality didn't alter at all, even though he was sitting there with his,
I know,
one leg longer than the other.
It was so weird. Yeah.
Do you have any complaints about the movie?
Only complaint I had was at the end when they were doing karaoke. I thought for sure she was going to get up there and karaoke, because that's something that he mentioned, like that she used to do and he used to love. I really thought that was going to happen, and they were going to sing some love song, and it was going to be this beautiful moment, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that is disappointing.
I really thought that's where they were going with
Me
that.
too.
Would have been good.
Yeah.
Why else would they mentioned karaoke like 4 different times?
Yeah,
that was an alternate like ending, and then they decided not to go that route. I don't know.
Well, they should have.
Yeah,
because I think you're right. I think that's my only complaint too, because I was waiting for that, and then she was like, nope. Like,
otherwise, I have no complaints because I really thought it was great.
Yeah,
I thought it was a really cute movie.
I just thought of one other favorite that I have to mention before I move on. When she comes back and then she hugs Duncan, he's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
I personally related to that on a very deep level. Like, why are you touching me right now? I don't know what to do and I cannot escape. But that wasn't it was just funny because like she's clearly never done anything to him. So I like it. I think for me, I think that's my only complaint. I don't think I'm trying to come up with another complaint, and I don't
am too.
have one.
So I'm being very quiet.
I got one other, which is incredibly superficial. How many shoes did she bring on this trip? Because the shoes he called her out for wearing in the beginning are not the shoes she's wearing at Painted Meadow.
I think they were only supposed to bring one pair of shoes.
She was wearing a different pair of shoes.
I did not notice that.
When they were first going out, she was wearing gray or black shoes. And then when she was in Painted Meadow, she was wearing brown suede with like the, those typical hiking boots, like with the red laces and then the brown suede. That's what she was wearing at Painted Meadow. That can be explained away by maybe they were told to bring an extra pair in case they got wet socks or wet shoes.
They weren't supposed to have wet socks. They're supposed to hang their socks up. Like, this was not allowed.
He made that clear.
Yes. I learned that. Okay.
And it was she obviously brought the wrong shoes to begin with. Well, she didn't wear them in, right?
She didn't break them in.
She forgot hers at home.
That's what
it was. She forgot hers.
So she had 2 different pairs of shoes. So I didn't know if that was a continuity error or not, but I think if that's the only complaint I can come up with when I think really hard, that's nothing.
I think we're doing good.
Yeah. So overall grades, what do you guys got?
I mean, A. Solid
I go
A.
A.
Yeah, I'm gonna go solid A. I think I want to watch this movie again, actually.
Yes. I
And
agree.
I would watch it again. I wouldn't watch it like back to back to back to
No,
back, but
no.
like once a year, maybe
Yeah.
like scrolling through Netflix and like, yeah, I definitely would rewatch
Yep.
it.
And when you're having like a down day, like I just
When I want a rom
I
com
put it
day,
on. Yeah.
that's what I call them.
And this one gets, and what I like about it is it is like it's rom-com, but it's also a bit of a drama, and it's
Yeah.
also a bit of a I don't want to say self-help, but it's an introspective one as well.
Yeah.
It's not just fluff. It's good. And I'm a Wisconsin person, so like this feels like a fall movie to me. Like I want to, when the leaves start changing color and I've got my white girl fall supply kit, I would like to watch this movie. So my grade 2, A. I think it's a great movie. Great movie. And there's nothing next for it because it's a one and done thing. It was a really good movie that you can watch on repeat, even if, and there's different ways that you can look at it. It's almost like those movies you choose your own adventure sort of thing, where you can focus on a different, I was so hyper focused on the main two characters that I'm sure there's things I missed about the other characters. I mean, I saw them, I heard them, I loved them, but I'm sure that there's aspects that I can analyze their characters. So it's something you can watch over again. And we're going to move into another rom-com that I kind of wish I skipped. So I'm gonna let you guys start off with The Perfect Find.
I can read. Yeah, so The Perfect Find. I can read the synopsis. After a high-profile firing, Jenna's fashion career comes back, hits a snag when she falls for a charming, much younger coworker, who happens to be her boss's son. As sparks fly, Jenna must decide if she'll risk it all on a secret romance.
Mm-hmm.
I loved this one too. I will admit that as I was watching it, I was like, not sure that Maureen's going to enjoy this, but I am enjoying it.
I did not.
But I thought it was good. I mean, I didn't like it as much as Happiness for Beginners. But I thought it was.
I loved the cast.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Okay,
I will say that.
The cast I loved. It was so many people, Gabrielle Union, Keith Powers, Gina Torres, Lala Anthony, Aisha Hines.
Is she Hen?
DB Woodside. Yeah.
She was my favorite in this.
I loved her. There's so many big names in this movie. I didn't really love the movie though.
Yeah.
I didn't love it. And I kind of was disappointed because I went in and I was like, holy moly, I'm gonna love this because I loved so many of the cast members.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just didn't grip me. I don't even remember half of it almost now. Maybe I need to go back and rewatch it. I don't know. But it was like I sat there, I watched it, and it was like out of my mind. And I hate that. Because I actually had very high expectations for this one.
And see, I think for me, maybe I liked it more because I honestly, other than I knew that Gabrielle Union was in it, I didn't know what it was about. I knew nothing.
Yeah, I didn't look up what it was about.
I didn't watch a trailer. I didn't know anything. So I think I liked it fairly well, maybe because I had no expectations going into it. I don't know. I liked I will admit, like the two lead characters, even though he was quite a bit.
It seemed like rushed or forced. I don't know. That's I just didn't feel like, I feel like it was just like, this is the story we're going to go and let's go. Okay, let's go. Like it wasn't, I felt like it didn't like have a base. I don't know. It was just kind of, I don't feel like it was just directed well.
No, I can agree with that. I think it started strongly. And then, like, I don't know, I expected more with the love story. I expected like a bigger like moment throughout
this
the middle.
was based off the book.
Okay.
So that might have something to do with it.
Yeah.
I haven't read the book. So maybe if we go read the book, maybe the movie will like it more. I don't know. It usually doesn't go in that order. I mean, I feel like the story had a cute like base story. I feel like the story was good.
I didn't expect it to end like it did, like because I don't know. I mean, being that I am basically the age of Gabrielle Union, he was adorable, and I get why she was into it because he was. But thinking about like, would this like work long term? No, like because he's a child, compared to me, So like, I don't know. I didn't expect it to end quite like it did.
Well, I mean, if he's got his master's, he's in his late 20s, early 30s.
Can you imagine though? Late 20s? No, thank you. I don't care how cute he is. Like, there's no way. Not for me anyway.
I did notice they made a point to have him and his 2 friends in his apartment on Nintendo Switches.
That was
Yeah.
funny. Yeah. You see, he's closer to my age than your age, so
Mhm. Yes,
I
he
can't
is.
say too much.
Yeah.
Because you say late 20s, and I'm like, man, that was like a few years ago for me.
Yeah, it was 12
It
years
was not for me.
so, yeah. I mean, because I think I don't know how old Gabrielle Union is, but like, I mean, I feel like
She's a little older than us, I think.
not by much. I think she's probably
No, just a little.
mid to late 40s, and like, I'm
1972.
41, so.
Thank you.
Okay, so she is 10
Oh,
years
she's
older.
woo.
My God, she looks beautiful. Like,
Ha-
I didn't realize she
What
was
is
10
that
years older.
sorcery? How does she look the same as she did
Different.
in 10 Things
I
I,
could
Hate
say
About You?
something.
How does she look the same?
Because she's Gabrielle Union.
Oh
And she's
my
amazing.
gosh.
That's why.
Well, that just means I feel like I need to go get some like moisturizing cream and like do something to myself.
I mean,
'cause-
Gabrielle Union, can you please come on here and teach us your magic ways? Because you are astoundingly beautiful. Not just for like your age, but she literally looks the same as she did when she did 10 Things I Hate About You.
She
I
also has a
thought
lot of
she-
money.
I thought
Yes,
she
she
was
does.
max
Okay.
like 45. I really did.
If
thought
I
she was
had
my age.
millions and millions of dollars, I bet I wouldn't look like this.
Did you notice her husband made a cameo?
Yes, I did.
No, I didn't. I don't even know who her husband is. I don't think. Who's her husband?
He's a basketball
I'm
player.
trying to think of his name. Like I know his
Oh.
face.
That's why I don't know him. He's a bad
No, I figured. I
I
if
don't
there's
know
a
his
person who would
name. I
notice.
just know his
I mean,
face.
Dwayne
I know,
Wade,
like-
wasn't it? Isn't it?
Oh, I
Dwayne
actually
Wade?
do know that basketball player though. Like at least the name. I would not be able to pick him out of a lineup, but I recognize that name. So.
I think for me, I would just say I don't have a favorite because I did not enjoy this movie in any capacity. The reason I forced myself to finish this is because I didn't think I would be able to fast forward through all the parts I needed to fast forward to in the other one. Little did I know that there was way more in this that I was going to be uncomfortable with. But I think the storyline I thought was new. It was nice. It was fun. I like her position and her role and how she created this new thing for this company. I enjoyed that aspect of it.
Mhm.
I think for me, where it fell really, really flat is I don't like gratuitous language and vulgar talk just for the sake of being vulgar and just for the sake of swearing. I
was.
don't like it. I
Mhm.
think it's
It was.
unnecessary. I think it's gross. I think we can be adults without having to throw that in there.
Yeah.
And they did, like the other body part word that they kept throwing in there every couple minutes. Like, why? Why you got to say that so much? Why?
Yeah. No, I agree.
It's unnecessary, and I don't need to see the shots. And I know that I might be in the minority there, but I don't need to see all these scenes that I did not, and I was caught because I didn't think that's what it was going to be. I didn't watch any trailer about it. I didn't know I didn't even know who the cat. I knew that Hen was going to be in there and Tommy, because that was said in our chat, and that was all I knew. And then Gabrielle Union, obviously, her face is on the poster. That was all I knew. So I was completely caught off guard by the first time I saw the scene. Like, oh my gosh, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
And so I just. It was a no. I can't watch it with my kids. I wouldn't even feel comfortable watching this around my husband. I didn't feel comfortable watching it at all myself.
Yeah.
And I think that they took what was a really interesting new story idea and they made it vulgar just for the sake of being vulgar, because that's what the world does. And that's not my bag.
The honestly finding out that it's based on a book makes that more like now I mean, not that it makes it okay because I felt the same way, but that it makes more sense as to why, like, because if that's the way the book was written, then that's the way. I mean, which is so funny because I don't mind to read that kind of stuff, but a lot of times I don't like to see it.
I don't like when it's like I have a sailor mouth, and Jeanette, you have a sailor mouth.
No,
but I
don't talk like that.
It's not how it's not every other word.
Yeah. No.
And there
it's
are
not. I don't
settings.
throw an F-bomb in there in the middle of a sentence when it shouldn't be.
When you're at a PTA meeting, are you going to go up there and cuss in front of all the PTA moms and your
No,
school
there's
principal?
a place. There's places of when and where.
In the Bear, it makes sense because that's what kitchens are like.
Yes.
I still don't like the language, but it's more natural coming out of there. Whereas here, it's like with the diplomat when she was cussing in front of the president. Like, what?
Yeah.
Would you really do that though? So it just feels like it's just trying to be relevant by being as vulgar as I'm so free with my sexuality. I can say all these vulgar things and I'm vulgar and nobody can say anything is what it felt like. And I was like, I don't need that crap.
Yeah.
I will never watch that again. I'm pretty mad that I finished it in the first place.
I think I would. I mean, I wouldn't like choose to watch it again, but if somebody like was like, "Oh, I haven't seen this, I want to watch it," I would watch it with them again. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have a problem.
I get that. I would probably
it.
do the same thing. Like
I
I
don't know if
would
I'd
watch
choose
it
it.
again if I was watching it with somebody else, but I wouldn't just freely put it back on.
Yeah.
I think my only favorite part I can really think of in here, I did like the soundtrack.
I like the soundtrack. Honestly, I did have a favorite when she had her dinner party. I really liked that scene because I thought it was funny with all of the characters interacting together. And then they ended up like getting like stoned or whatever. Like I thought that was a funny like moment, and especially because their chemistry was so good, and the poor guy that she was supposed to be her date was like kind of watching them like, okay. So that was probably my favorite scene, just because I thought that was just a fun scene. But
I think maybe my favorite thing was when I don't even remember any of the characters' names. Like I don't remember a single character's name.
I never remember character names, so I don't know.
When the main character, the young guy, he went up to me and said,
Eric.
you got one more time to sun me. that made me laugh.
Yeah. I really liked his character, if I'm being honest.
He was probably my favorite character of the bunch.
Yes, I agree.
He seemed more adult than the rest of them too. He seemed more professional than the rest of them.
I agree.
Yeah.
Except for when he let his mommy speak for him. That was weird.
Yeah, that was a little weird. See, and that's why I feel like the ending, it messed with me. Like I expected there to be a moment, and maybe I thought that would be the moment that he would like somehow stand up, and
that's what I was expecting too.
I didn't expect it to play out that way. So I don't know. And I hated Gina Torres's character, which upset me because like
I know that was
she played it well though.
She did.
And really, now that I'm watching Suits right now, and I like her in Suits, and I love Tommy, and I'm like, oh, hey, don't.
And I like Jessica Pearson,
don't.
I think, more than I like Tommy. So now I'm really getting upset. Like
I will say,
Jessica go round and round.
I will say that Gina Torres's makeup,
she's gorgeous,
freaking phenomenal.
Yes,
I didn't like most of her outfits though, but I don't like most of fashion today.
Well,
either.
it's fashion, yeah.
I don't like when I see the cast of The Summer I Turned Pretty on interviews, like, oh, why are you dressed like that? I don't like fashion today. So overall grade for this, I'm going to go first because mine's going to be the most vicious grade. I'm going to give it a D-.
I'd give it a B. I'm still okay with it. It's not my favorite.
I would go C+.
Okay.
I go C+.
We got most of the alphabet in there. I mean, most of the grading scale, not most of the alphabet. 3 letters is not most of the alphabet. I went to public school, but I'm not that dumb. So we got most of the grading scale in there. B, C+, D-. So
I mean, if it hadn't been at Gabrielle Union, I feel like it would go down to probably C. She's what's bringing it up to a B for me, because
the only reason I'm saying C+ is because I love the cast.
I think they didn't use hen enough.
I agree.
That's just
never enough.
No. So again, a one and done show. I certainly hope they don't continue it. If they do, I'm not watching it. You guys will have to review that on your own. This other one. Now, I did actually finish watching this one. I did turn it on once. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't with this, because it's another one where it's just like vulgar humor, just for vulgar humor's sake. And whenever he was at work, it was like the F word was every other word. Why?
This one I had more of an issue with it here, because at least in the context of like the vulgar language that was used in The Perfect Fine, not to go back, but like it was more often with her girlfriends or with him, or like in an more intimate type situation. Whereas this was just like it was there for just trying to make jokes, like, and it wasn't funny to me. So like, I don't know. This one I had high hopes for.
Yes,
because it's Tina Dobrev, and
I love her.
Just had,
and Adam Devine,
the whole cast.
Yes. So I really had high hopes, and I almost turned it off, but I pushed through for this review. And I will say the second half of the movie was better than
much better. Yes, I turned it off within the first 10 minutes the first time. We're talking about the Outlaws, by the way.
Oh yeah, we should say that.
Oh yeah, sorry. Wow.
Oh, do we need to read the synopsis?
Yes,
we do.
Somebody, Jeanette,
I'll pull it up. I'll read. Let me find it. It says, a straight-laced bank manager about to marry the love of his life. When the bank is held up by infamous ghost bandits during his wedding week, he believes his future in-laws who just arrived in town are the infamous outlaws. It sounded so promising.
It did.
It actually did.
And the trailer looked really good.
I guess enjoyed it.
I enjoyed the back half, but my issue is the first 10 minutes I had turned off because of the vulgar humor that I don't think it's funny. I think it's just like trying to show, oh look, crass can be funny. We have to be as bad as possible to show you how funny we are, and it's not humorous to me. And so I gave up, and then I thought, I got to do this podcast. I'm going to give it one more try. Yeah. And then it was him at work with all of his friends at work, and it was just the F word every other word. Like, oh my god, I can't do this. And then Jeanette said, try it again, and then I think I fast forwarded a little bit, and I enjoyed this. the last half. It was even like the last 3/4 of the movie. It was the first quarter of the movie. It was hard. Once the parents showed up is when I started to enjoy it. I didn't like the language still. And some of the sex jokes that they made, I didn't enjoy those, but the overall tone and storyline I enjoyed from the moments the parents came there.
For me, I don't do like slapstick humor. This is not what I enjoy. It's not what I laugh at. I like a much like more witty, like dark humor than like just the like slapstick, like stupid stuff, which is I feel like what a lot of this was.
That's
so,
Adam's.
I know.
Mhm.
Well,
Comedy,
I
though.
love him in Pitch Perfect. I loved him when he was on Modern Family.
But that's
So-
slapstick.
Oh my gosh, I forgot he was on Modern Family.
No, because I don't think the Modern Family's not as much because I think
Modern
it's-
Family's not, but I feel like Pitch Perfect a lot.
It is.
Or
but it's
the humor
kitschy,
in it
like
is.
it's like that kitschy cult classic. It's a
Yeah.
I feel like it's still different than what this is.
But
I
I
don't
feel like
know,
he
it just-
hasn't changed since that. You know what I mean? Like that's his niche.
Well, and maybe that's what it is, but like in Pitch Perfect, we weren't supposed to like Bumper because he was
Yeah.
douchey. You know what I mean?
But we
Like,
love him.
whereas like in this, he's our main character, where like it was hard to like have a main character be that sort of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just didn't. I
To me,
wasn't
it just
laughing.
it worked because it was. I think if
Yeah.
it was any other actor who did it, I think it
Yeah.
wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But when I see his face, I'm expecting that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
like that humor. Like if he acted different, I'd be like, oh, this is weird.
And I know Maureen
It's
won't
just like when
understand this.
Jim Carrey did like the Cable Man. Like it's just weird.
Oh, my head went to Chris Farley.
I don't like and see,
Ugh.
I mean, I know everybody in the world be mad at me. But I don't really like Jim Carrey. I don't really like Chris Farley because I don't enjoy that sort of humor. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Like Adam
See,
Sandler,
I
I do
do.
sometimes. Like, and I don't know why
I
he's
was gonna
like
say,
the
like, I
exception
love
to
Adam
this.
Sandler.
Because
Sandler's
Adam
one of my
Sandler's
favorites.
not as slapstick as the rest of them. He's
It's
just
just
goofy.
not-
Like Billy
He's
Madison
goofy.
is not necessarily slapstick. It's like dumb humor.
Right.
It's
And so
dumb.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really like Will Ferrell. That's just not my
Oh,
thing.
see, I do. I
Right.
guess I like slapstick funny then.
And see, this is like because I didn't get to be on that episode where you all reviewed what was that show that you all
Unstable?
hated. That is more my kind of humor where it's just like that, like
Oh, see, I didn't like it.
weird, like off brand, like kind of dark, like why are we laughing at
I haven't
this?
started that one
I
yet.
think that's what I think is funny. So I don't know. Amanda will understand this. It was very disturbing though that Nalini was the bad guy, the girl.
Oh,
Like
Oh.
I was like, Davey's mom, are you kidding me? This is like when she was speaking and all that nastiness was coming out of her mouth, I was like really upset by the situation, honestly.
yep. What's
It
her
was
name? I'm trying to
disturbing.
think of her name in the movie.
I'm just not
Rena.
all I can think of. Yeah.
Rena,
Wasn't it
yeah,
Rena?
yeah.
All I could
Oh.
picture was like Davy would be either disgusted or absolutely proud of her mother right now. Right.
She was another one who, when she wasn't using the F word, every other word, she made me laugh.
I liked her.
She
I
just
liked
seemed
F-word so
seeing her in
much in
this
this role. Actually,
Mhm.
it made now.
Weird.
She
I
was
did laugh
crazy.
at first. Whenever I probably shouldn't have like it was a serious scene, but I was laughing because it was her delivering it, and that's really hard for me to separate characters.
Yeah.
Really, if like you're in one of my favorite shows,
Mm.
That's
like
what this was
also like
hard.
with Nina Dobrev,
Yeah.
I've gotten better with her because
She's
I
far
follow her on.
removed.
It's been a while, first of all,
Well,
and
it's not been a while when we rewatch it all the time. That's the problem. Like, because that's always my issue. I'm like, I rewatch it too often. So, you know,
I bet like I follow her on TikTok.
yeah.
Right. So I get like daily kind of I don't want to say like her character in this movie was like her day-to-day life. It's not,
Yeah.
but it also seeing her on TikTok so much separates her from the character of Elena.
True.
And so I feel like I can have that separation.
Mhm.
If I see them like on a day-to-day kind of basis in their lives and stuff
Yeah.
like that, then I can separate them from characters. But with her real name is Porna. Porna? Maybe I'm probably butchering that. Poorna. Porna? I don't know.
I don't know.
That's Davy's mom.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
Her?
Nina Dobrev. I was like, I didn't know her name was anything other than that.
No,
Yeah. The one playing. Yeah. So
her real name.
that was hard.
Davy's mom. That
Mhm.
was it was really hard for me to separate. Like I kept wanting to laugh because she's so to me, I laugh at her character in
Yeah.
Never Have I Ever. But then here being so serious, I was like, oh wait, This is
Right.
not a laughable moment.
I mean, it was kind of funny when she drove away from the bakery with a machine gun out the window going, I love this job. Like, that was kind of entertaining. And when she dressed Nina Dobrev up, like, how did she describe how she looked in that wedding dress and that makeup? But that I don't remember how she just, but that line made me laugh out loud. She's like, finally, you look pretty. And she's got like 1980s mix of Tammy Faye and hooker makeup on her face.
Yep.
The ugliest wedding dress. I wish I remember what Nina Dobrev said because I laughed out loud when she said it. I don't remember though. But she was, that was it. Her character was like, oh, it's the first time you look pretty.
Yeah.
I loved her accent in this.
Yeah.
Does she not normally talk like that?
No, it's definitely. I mean, she does but it's like a lot more. Like it's a lot heavier. She put on.
Yeah, she put a definite heaviness on that.
Yeah.
Another. I gotta just keep mentioning characters because people kept popping up, and I'm like, ooh, Blake Anderson.
I knew you were gonna bring that up. He
Like-
was one who's humor. Like, I normally like some of his humor. I didn't like the vulgar humor he was displaying here. It was gross.
Oh,
Who
see,
is that?
Red-haired guy.
cousin RJ. He played in this.
Oh,
He
okay.
has the
I
bigger
don't know
hair.
him. I don't know him.
He was the reason I turned it off the first time.
I am a huge Workaholics fan.
knew that.
Like, I love the show Workaholics. That's actually one of Ben's favorite shows too. It's the only reason I watched it, but watching it, I love it now. That's one of the only shows that he'll like rewatch. But it has Adam Devine in it. Workaholics does. He's one of the main characters in that show, and so is Blake Anderson. They're two of the main characters in that show.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool for me to see them on screen together,
Yeah.
working together in a different setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else?
Michael Rooker was in it too. He played the FBI agent.
Hey,
I know him from stuff. I can't think of what.
Yeah.
But I know him from stuff.
He was
He's
in
a ton of
Walking
stuff.
Dead. He was in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I don't know if
Guardians
David
of the
made you watch
Galaxy,
those.
I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I think.
yeah, me
Those
too.
are those are some of the Marvel movies.
He's
I
been
don't
around
like.
for so long though. He's
Um,
been doing a lot.
I couldn't
Mhm.
stand his character.
I know. We definitely were not supposed to.
Like
I don't think we
hated
were
him
supposed
so
to.
much. The ones, even though I don't know if you're supposed to or not, but I did like because I think they make me laugh all the time. Was Adam Devine's parents. I don't remember what his name was, but like his mother, like the lady that plays his mother, always gets him
Margie.
so
Yeah,
hard.
Margie and Neil.
Neil, that's his name. Yep.
Like, I think both of them, like they made me laugh. Like probably
They
more
did.
than
They
any
were
of the
freaking
others.
hilarious.
It was weird for me to see Margie doing the vulgar jokes though. I was like, oh, come on, why? I didn't like that either.
Well, the apple
But-
isn't far from the tree.
But I do usually I like her in almost everything she's been in. She was in
Yeah.
What About Bob? And that was like one of my favorite movies of all time.
I forgot about that movie.
I like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, baby steps. But I love like everything that woman is in. And the guy who played Neil, I don't remember his real name, but he's same. They're in
Richard
shows that, like,
Kind.
yeah, they're in shows that display my kind of humor. Like What About Bob, the jerk, those kind of things. Those are typically my humor.
Yeah.
And so I love those people, those actors. I didn't like, there's humor that they put in here too, like with Pierce Brosnan when she's like, oh, you look like James Bond. Which one? And she
That
said,
was-
he's like,
That was funny. Like
I don't like it when they do
I
that.
was more mad that
don't
he didn't
know.
pick his own character, like his own name. I thought he was going to say.
I
Like,
just assumed it
Pierce
was his
Brosnan.
character because I don't watch the
I don't think-
James Bond, so I thought it was his
he
character.
said Kevin Costner, didn't he?
They didn't say a name. He said which one. She said the fifth one. He went, oh, that's a good one.
that probably is him because I'm trying to think.
That's what I assumed it was him because that otherwise why
I
would
swear
they
I looked it up while I was watching it, and it wasn't him. Wait, hold on. Let me look. Who is the fifth James Bond?
Because Kevin Costner's never been a James
No.
Bond.
After the legal issues had
Oh,
been
it
resolved,
was
Dalton decided
him. I swear I
Yeah.
looked it up while I was watching it, and it wasn't him. Maybe I looked
That
it
would be
up
the
while-
only reason to say that joke. And like
I was
I don't-
disappointed that it wasn't him because I was like, oh,
No.
that's
I thought
a
it was funny.
miss.
I thought that part was like, just a little cute little.
I think in movies it's almost like breaking the third wall. And I
Yeah.
don't like it when they do that in these kind of
when they
movies.
do that. So
I like it when they
Oh,
do
I
it in
love it.
shows like on The Office when Jim will look directly at the camera. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But in a movie where they're not actually trying to speak to the audience, I don't
Yeah.
I don't like those jokes. But that is honestly that's a personal preference. And I'm probably in the minority of that. I just whenever we do, I'm like, come on, take a less
one of the
easy
few
joke.
times I think I did laugh.
Really?
Yeah. Other than, like I said, the people that made me laugh the most were, I keep wanting to say Bumper. I have no idea what his name is in this.
Adam
movie.
Devine. It's
Yeah,
Owen.
just Okay. Oh, and when his parents, they made me laugh probably more than anyone else.
It's like, you're in the car. Michael Rooker, the character's name I don't remember either. And he's like, no, you can't sit in the front seat. I've worked for years to get my seat in the position I want.
And he wasn't gonna move. And even
No.
poor her tried to climb to the back seat. Like,
No,
that
it smells like eggs.
like that stuff, like it's I don't know, that's a little
That
bit
humor I
more-
like.
that's the humor I liked, where it's just this like subtle kind of like I don't know how to describe what it is, but like that is what makes me laugh.
Yes. And I did honestly, it was funny. I'm sure they meant it to be funny because it's a comedy. But even though they were killing people in this scene, there's two of them. First, when they came into the bakery and shut everything up, and it's just going between Adam Devine and that sister screaming. I was laughing really hard. And when they were doing the drop, and he's like, "Did they give me a freaking water gun again?" And he accidentally shoots the guy. And then he ends up shooting everybody else. Like,
Yeah.
that made me laugh really hard.
Like, I laughed a little bit when he had to fight the guy in the bank.
Yeah.
And then he had to give him like this like
CPR? His
like,
mouth
that
is
made me
all
laugh
green.
him just dressed up as like Shrek. Just I don't know. It's like there were moments that were funny, but like all in all,
I think I would agree with that. Moments.
you know.
Moments. I did. This is the one that made me like, I mean, I laughed with Happiness for Beginners, but not in the way I laughed about the things that made me
Right.
laugh here.
Right.
And there were times when I laughed out loud here.
Yes.
But I think the vulgarity of it kind of turned me off from it. So I can't really overlook that aspect of it.
I actually agree. If they had like done a little bit, added in a little bit more of the witty humor, and then like
Yes.
taken out like some of the vulgarness, I would give this a much higher rating than I'm going to.
Agreed. So what are our overall grades, by the way?
This one I would say a C, maybe even a C minus. I like, or I'll just say C because I did laugh.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I guess, just kind of, I don't know. This was one, if I was to watch it, I'd probably be on my phone scrolling through. Like, I wouldn't be paying that close attention.
Yeah.
And I would never watch this again, even if someone else was like, "Hey, let's watch this." I'd be like, "No, I've already seen it."
What about you, Amanda?
I'm gonna give it a B plus. This is more my humor. Like, I enjoyed this movie. I think there could have been improvements.
Yeah.
I enjoy with the vulgarness. Like, I feel like there was cursing in there, which is fine by me. Like I said earlier in this podcast, I got a sailor mouth. I don't really care about cussing, but I don't like it when it feels forced, and it felt forced.
I don't like when it feels nasty either.
Exactly.
Like,
And the
yeah.
vulgarity, it wasn't just like the F word, which was they used gratuitously.
Yeah.
It was like the sex jokes that like, I'm a grown
Yeah, like
woman.
I
I
said,
don't care
I'm
about
not-
that crap.
I'm not like, I don't get weird about that stuff. Like, I mean, I'll watch, like, but again, like, I don't like nastiness, if that makes sense. I don't mind sex. I don't mind all that, but like, just don't be nasty.
See, it's not, and I don't even mind watching that kind of stuff if it's if it fits.
I agree.
Like,
Yeah.
Shameless.
Okay. Yeah. No,
I love
agree.
Shameless. Now, that is the most vulgar,
It's pretty
nasty. Like, my mouth sometimes falls open. My mouth
Yeah,
falls
it's
open
pretty-
sometimes in the things that happens in that show.
But they live on the south side of Chicago, and like, I don't know, it just all
But it's
feels
like it fits. It's supposed
Yeah.
to be like that.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, like,
This felt, and maybe it's because it was Nalini, but it felt wrong coming out of her mouth, and I
Yeah.
didn't like it.
This is another one where it was just like, hey, we're on Netflix and we're going to be as vulgar as we can just because we can. And we're going to get the cheap laughs. Like,
yeah.
and the only thing that knocked it down for me, and I know that this is funny to some people, like, I don't like watching people throw up. It's not my bag.
Ooh, I don't either. It
I
makes
don't enjoy it. There's nothing about it I don't laugh. Like, nothing about it is appealing to
I
me.
like zero like
Anyway.
bathroom humor, throwing
Yes,
up. Or
I
any
don't
of
like
that
bathroom
grosses
humor
me
in it.
out. Mm-mm.
And this is a very minor thing. Did not enjoy seeing the caterpillar go up his nose. And I gotta be honest, I was kind of
Ugh.
concerned about it the rest of the movie.
Oh, that did bother me.
Yeah, that was
I-
gross.
I-
Like,
I
where did
actually
it
forgot about
go?
it already.
It never came out. Where did it go?
Out the
Every
other
time
end?
I
don't
looked at
know.
his face after
It probably
that's
came
all
out
I could think.
eventually. Yeah.
Well, no,
Must have
Marine doesn't do
eventually
bugs.
came out.
I would give this probably a C. C, because it did make me laugh. I love Adam Devine. I love Nina Dobrev. Like, I wish we were reviewing that Love Hard movie that she did last Christmas. I loved that one.
was so good.
Yeah.
Loved that one.
Yeah.
But I love Adam Devine. I love Nina Dobrev. Pierce Brosnan, I prefer him in like the Mamma Mia setting. I don't really
Yeah, I'm not a
need
fan.
him in this. I even kind of liked him in Mrs. Doubtfire, but I'm not a huge
Whoa, throwback.
That's a throwback.
hey. That is one that is worth watching repeatedly.
Oh, well,
And-
duh.
I thought you were going to disagree with me for a minute, and we were going to have words.
You know what I actually watched 2 nights ago
What?
when I was not feeling great? Legally
Hmm.
Blonde.
Excellent choice.
It was
That's
so
good
good.
choice. Good
I haven't
choice.
watched it in like a year. It was so. If you haven't watched it in a while, you should go.
I
watch
haven't.
it. It's good. It's a good feel.
Yeah.
Made all
But-
the feels.
I think for me, the cast was funny. Their cast they've been in other things that I have loved so much that I was willing to give this a third shot, because I did have to try 3 times to get through this movie. The only reason I did was because I was going to talk about it and I knew I was going to hate The Perfect Find. And I thought, well, I better have 2 that I'm okay with. So that's it. I would never watch this again. It was not for me. And it was too vulgar for me. And so that's what I think there. And I think this is probably not going to be a continuation, because we're not going to tell you how it ended, but it's none of these are going to be continuous. Just one and done
Did you
movies.
give a grade, Maureen? I don't think you graded.
I did see.
No. Oh, see. Okay, never mind.
That's right. So I think give these a shot for yourself. The one I would highly recommend is Happiness for Beginners. But I know like our grades were not the same on the other 2 at all. So judge for yourself what you think, based on your personality, based on your family, based on who you're going to watch it around. Judge for yourself, but definitely watch Happiness for Beginners. We are all in solid agreement on that. Really great show. Feel good. Watch it anytime with your family, whatever.
Make sure to come join our Facebook group. It's Netflix Family Fan Club. We'd love to talk about all these movies and new shows with you there.
Come let us know if you have recommendations, things that you want us to check out for you before you get to it. We'll give you a breakdown of it, why we think what we think. We won't give you any spoilers. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some that we talk about, but we're not going to give away the ending for any of you. We're not going to spoil it for you that way, but we'll give you our honest thoughts on it and what it was like and why we didn't like it, so that you can judge for yourself whether or not it's worth it for you or your family. And we would love to hear from you there. Check out our final Cruel Summer podcast that just went out Sunday. We give you all of our thoughts on the finale, and there are lots of things we say there. We are very honest about our opinions and ideas. And we have one more coming at you this summer. We are going over The Summer I Turned Pretty, which if you have not seen that, it is on Amazon Prime. Go ahead and get caught up. There are 8 episodes. We have 2 more left as of this recording. And get caught up on that. That one's coming at you August 25th, which I believe is a Friday. So stay tuned for that. And then we'll be taking a little bit of a break here at FFC while we try to gather how we're going to proceed through the writer's strike and the actor strike. But we will be bringing you more content in September-ish, between September and October. So keep posted to that. Check out our Facebook groups and our socials on all of those. We have a Facebook group specifically for our podcast called Fandom Family Chats. Check that out. We'll be trying to put updates there. We have an Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, which is not Twitter anymore.
X.
It's X.
Right?
That confused me when X suddenly appeared on my phone. I'm like, where's the bird?
Where's the bird?
So check us out there. Interact with us there. We want to know what you think. We are here because we are fans of these things just like you are. And we want to know what you want to see, what you want to hear. And let us know what you think. Do not forget to subscribe to our podcast so that we can get you content, continue to bring you content. Everything that goes into producing this, putting it out, getting the websites, getting the place to post our podcast, it all costs something. So make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube. It's free to do that. It helps us to continue to make sure we're getting you contact and be relevant to get you interviews once the strikes are over. And that is our goal for you, by the way, to get those interviews as soon as those strikes are over. We want to hear from all of our favorite people. And on that note, we'll see you real soon. Bye, guys.
Bye. Loving our content? Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to share our podcast with your family and friends. We want to continue the conversation with you. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok under Fandom Family Chats, or one of our ever-growing Facebook groups by searching Family Fan Club. We've also launched a website, Family Fan Club 2021 at Wixsite.com. You can email us there and keep checking it for announcements and merch coming soon. And of course, be sure to tune in every week for new episodes discussing all your favorite shows.